Good morning, everybody. Good Friday morning to you. It is Thursday for me because it's supposed to be raining tomorrow, so figured I'd do Jog and Talk today. So welcome to another week of Jog and Talk, and thank you as always for tuning in. So this week, to tell you the truth, I've had a lot of questions, but more about stuff that we've already talked about. You know, they wanted more details of that and stuff like that. So I've been kind of wondering, okay, what can I talk about this week? And actually just being out here for my jog, which I usually do this at least a half a day a week, if not more, is prospecting. And also we're gonna mix that in with having a broker when you're buying a property. So anyways, quickly, I always have, advisors that are with us and others. It doesn't even have to be in this industry. Obviously, it falls into any industry where you're in, anything from the service industry, like in finance, or the sales industry, like real estate, anything like that. They're always asking, how do I get my leads? How do I get my referrals? And a perfect example is what I do half a day to a day a week. And that is getting out there, knocking on doors. So in the finance world, I actually did that all the time, at least weekly. During the pandemic, a little bit different, but I'm not talking about residential, commercial. I would walk into business, introduce myself quickly, and let them know in about 30 seconds what I can do and the type of strategies that I can put together to benefit their businesses if it came for whatever it was, strategies on retirement, strategies on investments, tax efficiency, all of these things put together. So I would go at least once a day, and I would just walk into all sorts of businesses to talk to business owners. So now that I'm in real estate and I started doing that, I have now decided I'm going to do the same thing, except now I'm going to do it residential. So put together some good little pamphlets that have actually been working out pretty well, and I go around and I introduce myself. Now, never underestimate, and it doesn't matter how successful you are. Listen, I'm not going to toot my own horn at all, because I always have a lot to learn and I got a lot of advancements to do. But in the financial industry, I've done pretty good for myself. And but I still, on a weekly basis, went out and knocked on doors commercially. Now I'm going to do it residentially in real estate. Not only do I enjoy it, I get a jog out of it when I'm running around, but it's a great way to meet with individuals right there, face to face. And, they're gonna listen to your 10, 20, 30 second, they call it elevator speech, and just introduce yourself. A lot of times I do in and around my area where I live, and I introduce myself as their neighbor. And, we're always there to do best and help out our neighbors. And who better than to have a real estate broker, residential real estate broker, who's right up the street. So anytime somebody wants to see the home, boom, I could be there. So, like I said, never underestimate that. Pull up your bootstraps and get out there. It's I don't know. I've always found this is the absolute best way. So that's what I do when it comes to generating leads. But now, especially on the financial side, we get referrals almost on a daily basis. Now in residential, with the amount of people that I've known, developers and whatnot, I'm starting to get a lot of leads that way as well, which I do appreciate. And as long as you do a good job, you're honest, and you do what you have to do, you will get those referrals and leads from your existing clients. So that's that. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about, and we're going to try and not go too long here, is having a residential real estate broker to buy. It doesn't have to just be residential, but I'm going to speak residential because that's what I'm licensed in. So the sun's coming up here. So as a residential real estate broker, having one to buy a property, a lot of people say, well, I don't need one, I could do it myself, or I'll get one once I find a property, or I don't want to pay to have a broker to buy a property. Well, that's what I wanted to mention, is that when it comes to the buyer side, when you're the buyer, you do not have to pay to have that broker help you buy a property. Now, there is a contract that can be put together where a real estate broker will put together stating that there's going to be a certain amount or a certain percentage that they'll charge when trying to find a property for you. And it's rare, but it does happen on occasion, especially, let's say, I'm a South Shore, Montreal and West Island broker, and I had a client say, hey, I want to find a cottage in Tremblant, but I want you to be the one to show them to me. I don't want you to farm me off to a broker up there. Well, I would contact a broker out there to, get a better idea of the area and whatnot and work with that individual. However, by me, let's say, taking them on a Saturday or Sunday, driving up to Tremblant, and chances are it's going to be several trips, you want to make sure that, my time's important as well. It's time away from my family. Everybody deserves to be paid for what they do. So in a circumstance like that, I may have a contract. So a lot of times that's kind of the instances where you would have to pay to have buy a broker to buy a property. So, but most of the time you don't have to pay a buying broker. So really, it doesn't make sense not to have one. On the other hand too, is almost all brokers that I know, including myself, I know myself that one of my favorite things that I've mentioned is negotiating. I love to negotiate. I negotiate all the time. Even if I have to go in to buy a pair of new shoes, I'm going to negotiate. And I think most brokers are like that. So it's good to have someone that knows the ins and outs when it comes to negotiating, especially for real estate, depending on the area, the property, the inspection report, or anything and everything like that. So you want to have an expert there to help you through that. And that's not to mention the documentation. So the documents, the promise to purchase, fulfillments, amendments, all these things. You're going to want somebody that went to school and learned how to do contract drafting, how to go through all these documentations and to explain them and to put them together correctly. And not just put them together correctly for you, but to go over the contracts that another broker put together, the selling agent. So these are things that, could get you into some hot water, if ever. So that's why it's a huge bonus to have a buyer's broker. So listen, I told myself I'm going to keep it under 10 minutes. It's under 10 minutes. So thank you everybody for watching as usual. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, or for all of you who are watching it, a great rest of your Fridays and a nice weekend ahead. So thank you. I appreciate it. And of course, if you need any information on the financial side, reach out and I'm going to put you in contact with the right people. That includes me. And real estate, reach out. I am your man to help you out with anything that has to do with real estate. All right. Thank you. And we'll talk soon. Bye for now.